Welcome to Vow Glow with Pastor J. As usual, my name is Juliana Anake Ugu, and this is a conversation on before and after the vow. We're talking about issues before the wedding and after the wedding. Today, the conversation is on the importance of the stability of a woman before marriage. Now, normally, when a man talks about getting married, a man is discussing with either parents or friends or anybody about getting married. The first thing he is asked is, do you have a source of income? Do you have an accommodation? So he is told that he should have a place where he lives outside of his parents' house, a place of his own, and a source of income. That is stability. But when a woman talks about getting married, nobody asks about those things. And so it's just generally believes that her stability comes from being joined with a man. But the mistake we make in that is not knowing that or forgetting that when a person has stability, the person will be able to proper manage stability. So this is what I am saying. I am saying that if a woman has her own source of income, it will be easier for her to manage resources than for her to just wait for resources to be handed over to her. Have you noticed how it is with children? You have children in the house and the child wants to take toothpaste from the tube. Have you seen how the child takes the toothpaste? But when the child begins to earn money and the child needs to take toothpaste, do you see how the child takes the toothpaste? In fact, when we live in places where the light is being built as you go, when parents say to their children to turn off the lights in their room, they never remember. But when they are now living by themselves, paying the bills by themselves, nobody comes to remind them to turn off the light because now they earn money, so they understand what it means or what it feels like to earn money and to spend money. Bottom line, when things are handed down to people, they do not value them. They do not know how to manage them because they do not know the importance of that item since they didn't spend the time or the energy to acquire that thing. It is a human nature. That is the same thing with a woman who hasn't acquired any form of value or stability going into a marriage. When she gets into that marriage, she wouldn't even understand that you need to manage resources that are brought in such a way that it will last for a while until the time when more resources will come in. But if she is earning her own income, she will understand that when you earn money at the end of the month, if you do not manage it well, it will not take you to the end of the next month. So if a woman knows how to manage her own resources, if she's earning her own resources, earning her own income, has some form of stability, knows how to run her own life, it will be easier for her to manage her home when she gets married. Now, for the man, sometimes, like when I was growing up, we were told that if you are a successful woman, men will run away from you. That is to say, sometimes even when a woman has a job, she's living where she's told not to live alone, do not live by yourself, or you cannot acquire some form of luxury. We were told growing up that if a woman buys a car as a single woman, it will be difficult for her to find a husband. We were told that if a woman rents an apartment, like a 2-bedroom apartment, and furnishes it and is living inside, men would begin to be afraid of them. And I wonder, why would a man become scared or afraid or intimidated? I think that's the word. Would become intimidated by a woman just because she knows how to manage resources, just because she has stability of her own. I would rather a man takes on a woman who has stability by herself, so that because by having a stability by herself, she already knows how to manage that stability. When a woman has a job, she has a source of income, and she probably has her own home where she is living and running the home, then she would have acquired some experience at running a home without being told by anybody what to do. Now, when she comes into the house of a man, she will know how, when the man brings his resources to add to her own, she will better be able to manage it. She will be in a better position to be able to manage these resources in such a way that they will get results. So as a man, do not be intimidated by a woman who is earning her own income. In fact, we have come to the age where before a woman is ready for marriage, she must be able to earn some form of income. And if possible, have her own apartment and be able to run it. Know what it is like to live, have some form of stability by herself, some form of security in herself, so that she doesn't go into a marriage and her whole life is dependent on a man. Because when she gets into that relationship, when she gets into that marriage, with her stability, with her own source of income, with her finances, no matter how small, just like they say to the man, as a man, you must earn some form of income, no matter how small. You should be able to contribute to the upkeep of your family, no matter how small. Even if your wife is earning more income than yourself, you should be able to contribute something to it. It is the same thing to the woman. I am not saying both parties should earn equal or something, but I'm saying that if one person is earning more than the other, as if the man is in a position where he is making all the money, the woman should be able to bring something. She should have something she is doing to earn her own money by herself. Now, when she gets to that position, she will be in a better position to make decisions, to negotiate, to ask for what she wants, to ask to be treated in a certain way in that marriage. When that happens and they get married, they could decide, both of them, to say, okay, though you were earning an income, though you had a job, though you have been doing this and you've been doing that, as a woman, because it is easier for a woman to nurture children than a man. So as a woman, you could suspend your career or your job and come nurture or raise her children. It will be a conversation that the man and the woman will have together, and then they will rub minds and decide on what they want to do. So if they agree, if they come to an agreement, if both of them come to an agreement, the woman can now suspend her job, step out of her work to come raise the children. And when that happens, the man should understand the sacrifice that the woman is making and step in to fully cover her, to ensure that the period that she is using to nurture and to raise the children is not wasted. It's not something that will become painful to her. It's not something that will work to her disadvantage. He should cover her so properly such that when she looks back, there will be nothing to cry about. There will be nothing to worry about. But what I am saying, bottom line of what I am saying is, before a woman considers or thinks about getting married, she should have some form of stability. She should be able to earn some form of thing, have something to do, have something she is doing. She should be productive. Mentally or physically, there should be an ability in her. She must have acquired some skills on how to earn some form of income to cater for herself. A woman should be able to grow enough to the point where she understands who she is. She knows what she wants from life. She understands what it means to have a productive life. She understands what it means to earn an income and to disburse the resources. She must understand what it means to run a home. She must have her home and be able to run it and appropriate it properly. The same way a man needs to find stability before he thinks about getting married is the same way a woman needs to find stability before she thinks about getting married. So that a woman doesn't get married and then all of her being is just centered on that marriage. She has no other life outside of the marriage. She has nothing to fall back on outside of the marriage. She has nothing to call her own outside of the marriage. She has nothing. She does not do any other thing apart from the marriage. Now, should anything happen, then she will be left high and dry. So, in the conversation today, we are saying that as a woman, never put yourself up in a situation like that. Never set yourself up like that. That means that a woman must be mature enough to know what she wants, to be able to negotiate the terms of marriage that she wants, to be able to discuss and to say what she wants in that marriage before she gets into the marriage. That is to say that there has to be a certain age a woman must get to before marriage is mentioned into her life, before marriage is considered, before marriage is proposed to her. So you do not get a little girl who has not finished being a child into getting into marriage and expect her to perform or to carry out the duties of a full-blown woman. So before a woman thinks about getting married, the same way we say to a man to get some form of stability, a woman must get some form of stability. So it is very appropriate for a woman to have something doing before she thinks about getting married, to have something doing that earns her as some form of income, to be able to acquire some things for herself, to be able to provide for her own basic needs before she gets married. So that even while in the marriage, if the situation permits, if the circumstances allow, she could also still be deploying her skill, earning her income until probably maybe she decides that, okay, she needs to, because child raising, children, parenting cannot be outsourced, must not be outsourced, should not be outsourced. So when the children start coming and she decides that she wants to sit at home to nurture the children to a certain age, that's a different thing. But getting into marriage where a person just steps into marriage without anything to her name is a trap. It is a setting up for trouble. That is the reason why we are saying these days that if a man needs to have a job before he considers getting married, a woman needs to have a job too before she considers getting married. In fact, where both of them are working and earning an income, then paying the bills for the family become easier. There is no gainsaying the importance of a woman maturing and being productive. So, parents, ensure that your daughter is productive. Ensure that your daughter is groomed, not just for marriage, but for life. Let's stop grooming the girls for marriage. Because in the past, it looked as if to say all that the woman just needed was marriage. Even when she has a job and has a home and has everything, it looks as if to say because she has not married, she has not achieved anything. No, it just means that she has been prepared for life. She is prepared to face the rigors of life. She is prepared to take care of herself, to cater for herself in life before a man comes into the picture. And when the man comes into the picture, whatever the man has becomes an addition and not the only thing she's relying on. So before a woman thinks about getting married, she needs to be prepared. She needs to be stabilized. She needs to earn an income, know how to manage the resources, know how to run her own home, live by herself, and know how to manage some things by herself before she goes to join to a man, before she goes into a marriage, so that she does not get into the marriage and get stuck. I do not know if you agree with what I have said. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll see you again next time. Bye.